That means you need to understand a term in admissions we refer to as hooks, sometimes referred to as tipping factors in the process. Tipping factors are plus factors, non-academic factors that make you more valuable to a particular institution because you're bringing something to the table that they value that's consistent with their institutional priorities. And what I'm going to share with you here is highly subjective. It is my opinion as to which hooks carry the most weight from my experience, but understand something, it does vary from school to school. And so I'm going to start out what I consider the A-level hooks, the ones that carry the most weight, the ones which you could be maybe significantly outside of a school's academic profile and you still are a competitive candidate. So one of them would be being a celebrity. When I was at Westtown School, we had some celebrities that come through. Before I was there, one of Eisenhower's relatives came through. While I was there, we had people like Patrick Ewing's kid, Rip Hamilton's kid, Leon Spinks's kid. And you know what? Schools get publicity when celebrity kids apply. I remember a long time ago when Brooke Shields went to Princeton, it was a big deal. If Joe Biden's child was to apply to a college, that's going to be a big deal. A lot of publicity brings attention to the school. They're willing to go outside of their profile for a celebrity kid. Another time when you can be outside the 25% and carry a lot of weight is if your parents are super rich and they're prepared to write a big check. When you go on college campuses, a lot of times you see names on buildings. I know here in Atlanta you see Robert Woodruff on a lot of things. That's because former CEO of Coca-Cola, he wrote some pretty big checks. And you know what? It may not seem fair, but this is the way colleges think, and you can understand it. Guess what? If we take someone, and they're not the typical student that we would take, but their parents are going to allow us to have a new science center, a new gym, a new arts facility, guess what? It's worth it. At the end of the day, a lot more people are helped, so we'll go outside of our profile. So celebrity kids carry a lot of weight. Development kids carry a lot of weight. All right, let's go to the B+ level hooks, in my opinion. These things carry significant amount of weight, not quite as much as the A-level hooks. What does that practically mean? It means you can be outside of that profile in that bottom 25%, but you probably don't want to be in the bottom 5%. All right. If you are a recruited athlete in a non-revenue producing sport, that's still a big deal. Athletics brings a lot to the campus, and schools will go outside their profile for that. If you're from a very unique location, I mean unique. Let's say you're from the state of Wyoming, for example. That's the hardest state for most colleges to get because it's the smallest state. And schools like to say that they have 50 states. So if they've got 41 states or 46 states and they don't have anybody from your state, that carries a weight. Or maybe you're from a country. They don't have that country in their student body. That's a big deal. And schools will go outside of their profile for that. Another very, very difficult demographic for colleges to get are underrepresented males of color. And by that, I'm talking about Native Americans, Black Americans, Latino Americans. Native Americans are the hardest to get, so that carries the most weight. Black and Latino next. Schools have this basic concept, which is this. Every voice needs to be around the table for people to get the best education. Socially, people need to interface and meet people that they're going to meet out in the real world. In the classroom, they need to have the perspectives. They need the rural perspective, they need the city perspective, they need the suburban perspective. So anything that's not represented on the campus becomes more valuable because it contributes to the overall education. A lot of times people think, well, that's not fair. That's not fair because I have better test scores than this student, or I have better grades. But what people don't understand is they're looking at it very individualistically. They're not looking at it holistically. Colleges are looking at how are we going to be better as a whole. So another example that I like to use with people is this. Let's say you have a symphony. If you have a symphony, you need all instruments in that symphony to make the best music. So if somebody comes along and they're an unbelievable violinist, but guess what? You already have 6 violinists. Then you know what? You're going to pass on them because guess what? You need someone who can play the cello. You need someone who can play the oboe. That's going to make better music. I could use the same sports example. You got a football team. You have a quarterback that comes along. The quarterback's amazing, but you already have 3 incredible quarterbacks. You don't need another quarterback. You need an offensive lineman. That's going to make the team better. That's how colleges approach admissions. That's holistic admissions assessment. And so these